Hello and welcome to Fresh Faced One Shots. My name is Joey,
And I'm Jacob.
and today we are continuing Wonder Woman by Tom King with Wonder Woman number 5. So, this is a very different issue, I think, so far compared to the others.
This is the first time King feels like he's taken a pause.
Yeah, it's the first time that I think, at least, it feels like this issue is mostly setup, but it was some damn good setup, of course. It's the first time that a lot of the other issues, I think, feel like you could almost take out of context in this run so far, and you can kind of like tell their own story. This is very much part of this larger run, and it's very much leading to whatever the end of King's first big arc is going to be in its finale. So
here's the thing: I have a feeling that this is like the finale of this arc is only going to be the beginning of however long he stays on this book.
Yeah.
Like, if that makes sense, because
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't realize apparently this main bad guy's name is supposed to be the Sovereign. Actually,
yeah, I think we've been referring to.
Yeah, like King of America. We've been saying
King of America. Yeah. He's called the Sovereign.
He's the Sovereign now. Okay, I guess they put it on the cover because I guess people weren't getting that. So I don't know.
I don't know. He's referred to himself as a king, and a king is a sovereign.
So anyway, we open and we get some Wonder Girl content.
Wonder Girls content. Yes.
Yeah. We've got Wonder Girl. We've got Yara, Cassie, and Donna, which is fun to have here. You're only really familiar with one of these.
I'm only really familiar with Donna.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm sure the rest of these are pretty fun for you to see a bit more of each of their personalities, because they had smaller appearances in Wonder Woman 800. But here's, I think a more significant appearance for each of them, which is nice.
Well, I think this is also King establishing the characterization of these characters that he is using, which is, I think, important, especially for a character like Donna Troy, who, one of the few things I know about Donna Troy is that she has had like 20 different backstories.
Yeah. Yeah. I especially love what King does with Donna in this issue. I don't know. I loved her segment probably the most.
Once again, King is doing parallel storytelling. Also, less of a dark issue, guys. Finally,
it's really nice. It's really nice to have. It's nice to not sob at my comics. So yeah, this is good. This is welcome. We see that each of these Wonder Girls are choosing a contest. Apparently, Yara says arrows, Cassie says arms, and Donna says something different. Meanwhile, Sergeant Steele is collecting people for this team that him and that he is putting together.
He is collecting Wonder Woman villains.
Yes, and you love to see it because, man, Wonder Woman has a great rogues gallery that so many people just don't tap into. We got Giganta here at the start, as well as Cersei. Which is awesome. Great to see, because you're familiar with Cersei, obviously.
I'm familiar with Cersei. I will say, a lot of these introductions, because they're... we're basically, this is intercutting the 3 contests between Diana and the 3 Wonder Girls with Sergeant Steele collecting villains.
What is also kind of funny is we're dealing with a sort of villain coalition here, much in the way of another one-shot that we're doing with a specific issue that just came out that is coming up very soon for the one-shots, which I think is kind of cool that we have 2 of those sort of going on at the same time. That's fun. It's very fun.
I think it's a funny quirk of how publishing can work sometimes.
Yeah. So, meanwhile, Yara's contest with Diana begins, and we learned that pretty much the setup for this now is that Yara, Cassie, and Donna all want to help Diana in this battle that she's about to face, but Diana wants to go at it alone, and so Diana says, "Fine, I will face you all in the contest of your choosing, and if you win, you may join me. If not, you must stand down and give me your word." So Yara's, as we said, is arrows, and Yara's a very brash character. She's admittedly not one that I have a ton of experience with, unlike the other 2.
She's the newest of the 3, correct? She was only created
a
couple years ago?
Yeah, and she was sort of introduced to be sort of part of the Trinity along with Jace Fox as Batman and John Kent as Superman, but now John Kent has moved on to a different sort of Trinity, so it's a whole thing.
Okay, we'll probably talk about this a little bit eventually, but DC has seemed to shifted John around a bit and never quite know what to do with him.
Yeah.
Especially since they decided to age him up.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, I love John Kent in both, kid John Kent and aged up John Kent. Yeah, I don't think I really have a preference to either of them. But yeah, he's been moved around a lot in his exact purpose in DC. And actually, we can kind of talk about his whole current trinity that he's a part of in the backup story of this issue.
Yes.
So yeah, but of course, Diana bests Yara at her own battle here, at her own contest, and Yara must give her word to stand down, that she will not interfere. And meanwhile, Sarge Steele is getting more people for his team. Dr. Psycho, whose introduction I love, they're like, we weren't even going to take him, but he kind of just showed up.
You just have to imagine Tony Hale. Like,
yep.
I think that's the only voice.
Yeah. And then also Grail, which is really interesting.
Yeah, who's this, Joey?
So, you know what's really funny about this? We're going to be reading her introductory story on Fresh Face Comics.
Oh, is she a Perez creation?
No. She's not technically strictly a Wonder Woman villain.
Oh,
I'll say that.
Is she
I will advise you not to look it up, but I will say not in the incredibly distant future. You will be getting to Grail's introductory story.
Joey, that doesn't help. Is she a Jeff Johns character? Maybe?
I'm not telling you anything. We will get there. We will get there eventually. You're gonna find out much more about this person. So, but importantly, they say that she is Darkseid's daughter. So you get that at least.
She's a Justice League character. She is a.
So that's all. I'm just saying she's Darkseid's daughter. That's
okay. All. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. Meanwhile, Cassie's contest.
I love this contest.
It's really great. It's just an. I mean,
all three of these are. I don't know. This issue is just a master in pinning down characterization.
Mm-hmm. I think honestly, because each of these segments for each of the three Wonder Girls is like 4 pages each. And I think like King does this so well in so many of his other works, just like getting you to immediately know a character just based off some really simple interactions with somebody important to them. And yeah, he once again crushes that here. It's really, really great. It's an arm wrestle, and Diana of course wins, but it just, I don't know. I love this scene in particular. It's really great because it seems like Cassie has the upper hand at first. I also love the whole thing about the word almost that is here that I really enjoyed. I never understood this almost. It seems to me to almost have no meaning at all, which I thought was funny. That's great. So, but yeah. Meanwhile, more bad guys. Silver Swan. And
I wonder which version of Silver Swan this is.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll get more on that next time.
Because I know that a certain Perez creation becomes Silver Swan at some point.
Mm-hmm. And if it's her, I'm pretty sure this is her actually.
If it's her, Tom, hi, hello. Fan of your work, or the bits of your work that I've read. Give me Julia, please and thank you. I'm reiterating this. You're doing a good job. But Julia Capitelis is a character who deserves the spotlight more often and caters to me specifically.
Jacob, you are a treasure. Also, Angle Man, which like fucking
this is okay.
Tom King bullshit. We love it.
Yeah, no, that was exactly where my brain went. I'm like okay, cool. I'm like, okay, Giganta. Haven't read anything with her, but I know she's a famous Wonder Woman villain. Cersei, obviously, great. Dr. Psycho, Grail, who I don't know, but has the design of like this is probably a villain with at least some history, or Silver Swan. And it's like, oh, here's our Kite Man for this run.
Yep, Angle Man. Oh man,
but also like this person solved the anti-life equation and went insane. And yeah. I don't, Tom. I don't like. He did a very good job of introducing these villains. I want more of these villains, potentially individually.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure we're gonna get. Like,
oh, almost definitely. So
yes.
Meanwhile, Donna's
trial.
challenge. Okay, so first off, I hate myself because I immediately knew this was meant to emulate the Injustice 2 roster, with Atrocitus and Brainiac and Poison Ivy, which is also kind of inaccurate because Aquaman's in a weird costume for Injustice 2, but whatever, it's fine. I don't care. I care because I love Injustice.
Daniel Sinclair, keep putting these references in just to annoy my friend Joey, please.
That's true. But yeah, Donna and Diana are playing Injustice against each other.
Which is, I'm like, that's a choice?
Yep, as Donna is playing as Batman, Diana is playing as Superman, and Donna is also wearing a Teen Titans Go shirt.
I just noticed the shirt. Jeez, wait.
You didn't notice that before?
I didn't notice the shirt.
Love it. It's so good.
Hang on. The implications of...
I think Teen Titans Go has always sort of implied that it is just some wacky cartoon made based off of the Teen Titans adventures.
Yeah, so hang on. This implies that Teen Titans Go and the Injustice franchise are in fact franchises in the DC universe.
Absolutely. I can accept this.
Oh, I now want to know everybody. I want to know like the Justice League's thoughts on these two properties. Like,
right. But I love this bit so much because Tom King isn't just commenting on Diana and Donna's relationship, as he does so well. Also on Batman and Superman's relationship, which there is that great Tom King Superman miniseries called Up in the Sky, I believe, where there's that great scene about the kid asking Superman who would win in a fight between him and Batman, and Superman says, "Oh, I would let Batman win to make him feel better." And I don't know, I love that. He's like, "I know it would make him feel good," I think he says. And so that's sort of how this plays down. Is Donna is winning at first as Batman, until Diana, through knowing Clark and Bruce personally, sort of wins this fight. It's great. It's really fun. And also Donna breaks her TV because she throws the controller at it.
I like King's sort of reflection also in a way on Diana's place in the Trinity, because there is sort of this. Not in necessarily, I don't think it's quite as common in comics themselves with my limited experience, but definitely in like the larger space of people who like vaguely like superhero properties, largely things that aren't comics like movies. Like Wonder Woman has this weird separation, like the best way to put it is it's not like Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice is Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, not like a Trinity movie, despite Wonder Woman in that film having a fairly substantial
role. Significant role, yeah.
I think sort of that. Do I have something here? Am I making sense, or am I?
No. I totally get what you mean. Yeah, and I think you're right. That's definitely what King is commenting on, and also, of course, this also ends in Donna being forced to, not interfere. There's also a really great tearful goodbye between them that I love.
Oh God, yeah, Donna. I'm like, first off, it's King really makes the sisterly relationship feel like a sisterly relationship.
Yeah.
Which is something I think is really interesting for a superhero dynamic. Because part of this issue is also mused on the fact that Wonder Woman hasn't really had sidekicks, like, at least not for a very long time. Like, at least, not since the sidekick boom and collapse, right? Like, you have the big boom starting in like the late 30s when Dick Grayson gets created, and that booms to everybody. But then by the 60s, Stan Lee makes that all phase out because he creates Spider-Man. And he kills the sidekick dead.
Yeah, and so King taking the time to comment on Diana's specific relationship with each of these three characters, and Donna especially, I think is just really important.
It makes me want to not only read more of this run, go back and read more of the Teen Titans, which I know we're going to be doing, as well as
more Perez Wonder Woman, of course.
More Perez Wonder Woman. Whatever Cassie's introduced in, I know she's there for like Young Justice, and I think John's Teen Titans run.
I believe. Yeah.
And then, of course, however Yara Flor is introduced in, which I'm sure Fresh Face Comics will get to.
There's so much. There's
a lot, guys. There's a lot.
But then we finished by getting a nice, great group shot of our Wonder Woman villain team here, including just a lovely drawing of Angle Man. But also, Diana goes home and sees that her lovely three Wonder Girls have just said "fuck you" and we're going to help you anyway. And I love that ending. I think that's perfect. And also, just a little detail that I only just noticed actually is the picture of the kid up in Diana's apartment.
Yeah.
From last issue, I just noticed that. Oh, that's lovely. But,
yeah, it's my one complaint is like the ending is maybe a bit on the nose, but like, how else are you going to end this? Like, how else are you going to do it?
Yeah, it works, and I'm very excited to see where this goes. Yeah, just very excited for this. For Tom King to almost turn this into a team book for the coming issues. Yeah, very excited.
It gives Diana a supporting cast to talk to when she has kind of lacked that in so far in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and importantly, an all-female supporting cast, which I think is too important for Diana's character at this moment. So yeah. Meanwhile, backup story. World's Finest Part 3. Just continually knocking it out of the park. Belen Ortega's art is so much fun. It's a kangaroo race between Damian, John, and
Lizzie.
And Lizzie.
Much older Damian, John, and Lizzie. Like
yeah. So each of these parts of World's Finest have sort of jump forward at least a few years at a time. It seems.
Yeah, it feels like we're just. These feel like flashes more than anything. I'm not sure if we're actually...
Which does make me very curious as to... I just wonder if Part 4 might take a bit of a darker turn as we get closer and closer to the moment where Lizzie meets with the Sovereign in the future.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's because they're flashes that there hasn't really been this overarching... There's been an overarching plot of Lizzie growing up with John and Damian.
Yeah.
But it's not been like a strong cause and effect type thing. It's more like little episodes of almost like fluff, if that makes sense. Not like bad fluff. Very good fluff. Very fun fluff.
There is also a really interesting line here that makes me curious to see, because I think it's clearly teasing a bunch of big arcs going forward in all the Trinity's main titles right now. They mentioned Lex's Legion and Brainia. I think they just unveiled a Queen Brainiac thing in the Silithids, didn't they, for Superman?
They might have.
And then they say President Psycho and the Joker Corps.
I'm like
very interested to see what that's all about.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. I saw this on Twitter. I can't remember who. Someone noted that part of this book has felt a little bit in certain ways like Tom King reflecting on his time working for the CIA.
That's very possible.
Where I'm like, I'm curious to see what Tom King has planned, because do not tease President Psycho
and not give it to us.
Yes. Make it
I would not be surprised if this whole Wonder Woman villain squad does not end in Dr. Psycho out on top for some reason. I would love that.
I also just realized Cheetah hasn't been used in this.
Cheetah has not, and she was shown literally in a past issue.
Yeah, I feel like King has a plan there.
King definitely has a plan there.
Her absence is saying something.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know. I find John and Damian's relationship really funny.
Yeah, these backups have been your sort of first big exposure to their relationship, which is an iconic relationship in comics. John Kent and Damian Wayne, the Super Sons.
Yes.
Big thing. And have you been enjoying their relationship?
I have been. So I think what helps is that John, at least in these, feels very simple. I will say I kind of wish I had a bit more context for Damian, how he's characterized larger, but I'm sure that's coming with Fresh Face Comics, because we've done a bit of focus on the other three male Robins.
Yeah, it's coming.
I'm sure it's coming.
So, yeah.
But I find it interesting that like King seems to be characterizing Damien's like, I don't want to call it edginess, but it is kind of like edginess is almost like a total mask that he is wearing. That like
yeah. Oh, totally. That's Damien in a nutshell. All right, I guess that about does it.
Yes,
cool. All right.
A very nice breather. I'm
much needed. Genuine fun in this issue.
Even
in the main story for once, which is nice.
Yes, I didn't have to say content warning.
Yes.
Once.
Yes. Thankfully. So, otherwise, check out other Fresh Face one shots we have on the channel.
Yes.
We're covering Batman Brave and the Bold by various people.
I believe that'll be coming sometime
next week, I believe.
Next week.
And then, of course, Superman by Joshua Williamson, which just released its 10th issue this past week. We're releasing a video on that very soon, so be sure to check that out when that comes.
I had thoughts on that one as well.
Yeah, so those will be there. So, all right. Thank you all so much for watching. Our socials will be linked in the description below through link trees and all that. But I guess until next time, this has been Joey Morgan
and Jacob Licklider.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.